Can't really talk without a microphone, can we? Okay. I guess we'll get the lo-fi playlist going for the vibes, too. We're going to need it. This is about to be some heavy information. So it begins. Yeah, man. I've got a couple of articles pulled up. What's up, Quentin? If you have any links that I absolutely should check out during this live stream, feel free to send them over. I can just copy paste it from here and I can pull it up on YouTube. I want to hear Trump's announcement or speech or whatever he had going on earlier. I haven't looked at it yet. I just pulled up a couple of news articles and we're going to go through them. Yeah, this is actually crazy. Okay, so I've got an article from CBS. I've got an article from BBC. I want to get a couple other sources here. I guess we might as well get CNN. Maybe I should have been more clickbaity in the title. I should have said World War III imminent. Okay. No, we're ready for this. I got the coffee. I've got at least a couple of articles to start with. All right, let's pull up the PC display then. Okay, so this is the one from CBS. I guess we'll just start with this. I saw a live broadcast on the BBC's reporting, and I wanted to pull that one up and watch that. But let's see here. All right, this is from CBS. U.S. and Israel launch military strikes on Iran, with Trump confirming major combat operations. All right, what to know about the strikes on Iran by U.S. and Israel. The U.S. and Israel announced a major military operation against Iran early Saturday after President Trump threatened the Iranian regime for weeks to make a new deal to rein in its nuclear program, and before that threatened it over its violent crackdown on protesters in January. I didn't cover that. I actually didn't report on that, but I heard about that stuff. About the violent crackdown on the protesters, I mean Quentin knows. I haven't been streaming on this channel. In a video posted on Truth Social, Mr. Trump said the U.S. was, quote, undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests, end quote. The U.S. military dubbed the assault Operation Epic Fury. What a name. Quentin, if you've got that Truth Social link, that's probably the one I want to watch, yeah. Actually, let me, I'll open this in a new tab. That's probably it right there. Nope, that's another CBS article. That's fine. We'll just continue with this for now. Mr. Trump called on Iran's military forces to lay down their weapons and on Iran's civilians to rise up and, quote, take over your government after the U.S. and Israeli strikes. In the run-up to the strikes, the U.S. military moved over a dozen naval ships and aircraft toward the Middle East as the Trump administration waged a pressure campaign on Iran and engaged in indirect nuclear talks with Iranian officials. Mr. Trump previously ordered airstrikes on key Iranian nuclear facilities in June 2025. Pentagon is calling the U.S. strikes Operation Epic Fury, but this is a joint operation between the U.S. and Israel. So is that just the United States part of the operation is being called Epic Fury? According to a post on X from the Defense Department, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu referred to his country's operation, which was launched in conjunction with the U.S. strikes, the Roar of the Lion. All right. Iran launches second round of missiles at Israel. IDF says a second volley of missiles was launched at Israel by Iran, the Israeli military said. So they're just engaged in active combat right now. The Israel Defense Forces said on social media that, quote, an additional barrage of missiles was launched toward Israel. Israel's missile defense system was, quote, identifying and intercepting the threats, the IDF said. Emergency alert sirens blared intermittently across the country on Saturday, and a state of emergency was announced by the defense minister, Yisrael Katz. And there's a apparent near total internet blackout in Iran. NetBlock's organization says, dude, this is huge. So this is just straight up how World War III starts, eh? Pull up Nick Sorter or Benny Johnson on Twitter. Yeah, I'll pull up Benny. Actually, that's I haven't been on X in so long, bro. I don't even think I have an X account for the Libservative. Do I? I'm about to find out. I'm pretty sure I do. I'm pretty sure I do, actually. Sign in with Google. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I knew I had an account. Oh, gross, but it's not on dark mode? Shame on me. Hold up. This is unacceptable. I need to change this to dark mode before I lose my shit. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I can't have it any other way. All right, let's search up Benny Johnson. Old Benny boy. He goes, this is his pinned message. I pissed off Hillary Clinton today. Nice. Okay, this is the video. All right, so this is 8 minutes. We're going to watch this real quick.
Defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible.
I'm going to start it over.
Short time.
And I also have to make sure the volume is coming through. Give me 2 seconds here. I didn't do any troubleshooting before going live.
Ago,
okay.
the United States military
like.
began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries.
I like his hat.
Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel.
Hey, legends, welcome.
In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many
welcome
died.
back, I should say.
Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before.
Whoa. Missile attacks target U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in the United Kingdom. Is that directly from Iran? Is that reported to be from Iran? Explosions reported in Abu Dhabi. Oh my God, dude.
Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested.
What happened in Iran? The U.S. and Israel just launched a joint strike, a joint military operation against Iran, trying to take out its leaders.
There's always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons.
Did they succeed? It's ongoing right now. It's an ongoing conflict.
And we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power.
Go to Nick's order after this. Will do.
My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with His help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, he didn't sugarcoat anything.
A short time
I'm just going to quickly repost this just so I have it on my feed for later. Yeah, I really don't use X. And so you said to go to Nick Sorter after that? Nick Sortor. I don't know who that is. Sortor. Nicholas Sortor. Yeah, here we go. Okay, 2 minutes ago. Just in, Democrat Senator John Fetterman comes out in full support of President Trump's massive strikes on Iran. Good for John Fetterman. Actually, let's hear what he has to say real quick. Oh, it's just his tweet. Whoa. Yo, I need somebody to translate this. They sound happy, but it could also just be, you know, nerves and excitement that something crazy is happening. Breaking reports of massive explosions in Bahrain's Jafar area, which houses a U.S. Navy base. Oh, is this what you were talking about, Quentin? The missiles that were targeting the U.S. base in the UK? Oh, no. This is Bahrain. Never mind. Alarms are sounding and people are being ordered to seek shelter now.
Shelter in place. Missile threat warning. Seek ardent shelter immediately. Shelter in place. Missile threat warning.
It was caught just after the explosion.
Shelter in place.
U.S. military strikes have hit major sites in Iran, including the Iranian Parliament, National Supreme Council, Ministry of Intelligence, Iranian Atomic Energy Agency. There have also been major cyber attacks on Iranian news agencies, and strikes are still happening. There's a little segment from Fox.
John, I've just received a list of some of the early targets that have been attacked inside Iran. Let me read to you from that. There have been attacks on the Iranian Parliament, the National Supreme Council, the Ministry of Intelligence, the Iranian Atomic Energy Agency, and also cyber attacks on news agencies such as IRNA. So this is very significant.
Jennifer.
John, I've just received a list of some of the early targets that
Damn. So just hitting major targets, Iranian Parliament, the Supreme Council, the Ministry of Intelligence. I wonder if there are any civilian casualties reported yet. I mean, obviously, none of these are civilian targets. They're not aiming for civilians. It's probably way too early to tell. Yeah, it's probably way too early to tell. It's pulling up the deaths from when they were killing the protesters a couple months ago, but there's nothing about today's attacks. We'll give that one some more time. I mean, they're not attacking civilian targets, so hopefully, with any luck, no innocent people got hurt. Insane video coming out of U.S. Tomahawk missiles flying through Tehran. It's fast. Cool. Here. Repost that. Repost that one. And I guess we'll repost Fetterman's support of it. Your Arabic is very rough. Haven't spoken it since 09, but the Iranians are very happy. This is basically their revolution moment. Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, hopefully. I hope that's what this is. There are no notifications because I never use this account.
Combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people.
Just had to hear it a few times, just hearing what the objective was. The Department of War just tweets out Operation Epic Fury. Wow. What the hell? Yeah. Appeal to Iranian people to take over your government. It will be yours to take as the U.S. and Israel launch Operation Epic Fury against Iran. And allegedly, the Israelis' operation is called the Roar of the Lion, from what we saw earlier. All right, let me pull up one of these articles and see. We were already looking at CBS. Forget CBS. I wanted the BBC. I think it was this one.
Yes, President Trump and U.S. Commander-in-Chief we've often reported on BBC that he has sent conflicting messages about whether this was about Iran's nuclear program, that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon, or that it was about broader regime change. He named all of these reasons this morning in that first post, and this is history tells us that there's been no example of an order, a government, an order being brought down by airstrikes alone. But President Trump has repeatedly said that he wants to keep his troops out of forever wars. He doesn't want to put boots on the ground. He made it clear that it would be up to the Iranian people to do that. Remember, during the protests of last month, he called on them to take control of your institutions. Well, the Iranians saw that when they take to the streets, that the security forces have lethal force, that they're able and willing to use. The death toll is in the many thousands. It's still being counted. There are still people there are still families who don't know the fate of their loved ones. So it is a very unpredictable and a very perilous time. And this time, President Trump, unlike the lead up to the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003, he didn't go to the UN Security Council. He didn't try to build a coalition in the region. He is doing this just with Israel. He seems to believe that right and history is on his side, but there is no evidence that we have seen, no evidence that this preemptive attack described by Israel, that there was an imminent Iranian threat on Israel or on the United States. So a new war has been unleashed, and this morning, in these early hours, no one can say with certainty when and how it will end.
Lise, in his statement, President Trump urged members of Iran's military to lay down their arms, called on Iranians to topple the regime, as you mentioned. He said bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will probably be your only chance for generations.
So it's strictly an airstrike on our part.
Perhaps any cracks, any vulnerability in the many layers of enforcement that the regime has?
The exiled former Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi had been saying for many months that they had set up a secure portal, that 50,000 security forces had indicated that they were ready to defect. He never provided any evidence of that. There were questions over whether that was really the case. You'll remember that when these protests intensified in January, when they spread across the country, there were many predictions that the Islamic Republic was on the brink of collapse, but we saw no evidence that there were major cracks in the security forces or at the top political echelons. There was no evidence of any defections. It was more that actually the political and security order pulled together. There are security forces, the elite Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the volunteer Basiji
Did they
militia,
find
who
out
are
whether or
hardline
not they
and
restarted their
ideological,
nuclear program?
will fight to the end? Are there people within those forces who would be ready to lay down their arms because they know where this is heading? That is also possible too. Going to Iran this last time, Iran felt like a different country. We were really struck by how raw the anger and pain was after the losses in the security crackdown of weeks before. Iranians said to me, I've never heard this in Iran before, people saying to me, we feel that we have no other option now. No one wants their country to be attacked, but we want there to be American military strikes because we feel this is the only way we can bring about change. But there were others who were really expressed their anxiety about another military attacks against Iran, didn't want to see another war, wanted the international sanctions to be lifted. Iran is very much on the crossroads, a country pulling in many directions. And now those decisions are...
Yeah, I mean, according to the AI overview, as of this month, February 2026, satellite imagery and intelligence reports indicate Iran is actively reconstructing and fortifying its nuclear and missile sites, specifically at locations like Isfahan and the Parchin military complex, following strikes by the US and Israel. The reports are coming in after the strikes. That's rather convenient. Iran is strengthening tunnel entrances and rebuilding infrastructure damaged in previous conflicts. Satellite images show Iran is reinforcing, rebuilding, and burying nuclear-related facilities, including burying the... I can't read that. The Taliban 2 facility at the Parchin complex. Okay, so they at least have some reason to believe that the nuclear program is being restarted. That's probably, that's definitely part of the basis of the attack.
Now, and history tells us, and you hear generals in the Pentagon saying that no plan survives contact with the enemy. And in this case, the enemy is Iran, and it is carrying out the threat. It said, if you attack us this time, we will attack as we never have attacked before.
That was a statement from Iran.
The US has seen Iran as an intractable problem since the 1979 revolution.
Yeah, I mean, Iran, it's one of the bigger players in the Middle East. Like it's no Saudi Arabia, but it is one of the bigger players. It's just what concerns me more is the alliance. You know, they've kind of got that four-way alliance. It's Iran, China, Russia, and I think North Korea is part of that little four-way gangbang they got going on. Basically all people who don't like us, the U.S. But this is from CNN. This is the, I guess, here's the latest. The U.S. and Israel launched strikes on Iran Saturday morning after what the Israel Defense Forces said was months of close and joint planning. The U.S. military is also planning for several days of attacks, according to two sources. And what we saw earlier was that they were strictly aerial strikes, and there's not going to be any boots on the ground. U.S. President Donald Trump described the military campaign as massive and ongoing, adding American lives may be lost as a result. Look at that. Look at that framing. Trump also advocated for regime change, calling on Iranians to take over your government. He also accused Tehran of working to rebuild its nuclear program after massive U.S. strikes last summer he previously claimed had obliterated the facilities. Yeah, I mean, this is CNN. What do you expect? This is going to be very biased against Trump. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said it has fired the first wave of large-scale missile and drone attacks toward Israel. There are reports of multiple explosions in Bahrain, the United Emirates, and Qatar, all of which have U.S. bases. That's actually kind of terrifying to think about. Reports of multiple explosions. Just explode. I mean, that can't really be a coincidence, but that doesn't necessarily mean a strike or like an attack, you know? Is there an actual like article about it? Iran strikes shore up Netanyahu's domestic position with elections due. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. For Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Iran has long been the flagship issue. See, this is, I'm starting to like kind of think about the inner machinations of why some of this stuff might be happening, and the fact I guess, allegedly, the Israeli elections are coming up. That's something to pay attention to. Iran has long been the flagship issue. For years, Netanyahu has warned of Tehran's nuclear peril and regional aggression, a campaign that culminated in Israel's June 2025 Operation Rising Lion, blah, blah, blah. Could shore up Netanyahu's standing as elections loom. Officially, voting is set for October 2026, though coalition tensions might move them up. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is drastic action preceding the Israeli election in a couple of months. We're going to get into how I feel about all this shortly. I'm just trying to get all of as much information as I can here. Let's go back to Benny Johnson, see if he has anything new. Nah, that Nick Sorter guy had a good feed. Okay, so 15 minutes ago, the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet has been attacked by Iranian missile strikes in Bahrain. No word on U.S. casualties. I think you mentioned that earlier, Quentin. Wow. You see the start of the explosion. Boom. Also, yeah, I think that's the new clip on Sorter. You're cold and scared. Well, you're cold because you're ice cream, brother. Ice cream is supposed to be cold. That's fine. We just had Navy casualties. Hiding under the bathtub with a mattress over you for at least an hour and a half. Yeah, that'll protect you, bro. So I have some mixed feelings about this, because while I personally agree that Iran should not have nuclear weapons, I think that is dangerous to the world. I've never liked how the United States imposes its will on other nations, particularly when regime change is the objective, which President Trump just openly said regime change is part of the objective over there. It's being painted as regime change initiated from the inside. They're going to take out the leader. Like, I guess we, the U.S., are going to take out the leaders, and then the Iranian people are going to take their country back and start fresh, which sounds good on paper. I'm not particularly a fan how it kind of seems that Israel is leading this charge. Yeah, this is a joint strike between both the Israel and the U.S., but there were plans for months. This is not something that just popped up out of the blue. They were planning to do this. The fact the Israeli elections are coming up in a couple of months is, like, that's got me looking at this with some side eye. It almost sounds like, hey, Israel came to us and said, hey, U.S., we need to make old Benny boy, Benjamin Netanyahu, look good for the upcoming election. So we're going to take drastic action against Iran, who is a, like, public enemy number one for Israel right now. And that's going to help him in the elections if we do something drastic against them. So it's like they're sort of recruiting us to help them out here. I don't have many positive feelings about our alliance with Israel, just because it comes from my lack of a religious belief, and just knowing the whole history of the region and how everything sort of dates back to 5,000 years ago. God gave these special people this special piece of land, and how basically all the conflict in that region kind of stems from all of that. And as a non-believer, it's just like, ugh, y'all are squabbling over some bullshit over there. And I hate how the U.S. gets dragged into it, because we're an ally to Israel, so it's like we have to help our friends, right? It's beneficial for us too, because we get to establish military bases over there. We get to keep tabs on the Middle East. We get to have a set of eyes over there at all times, and in return, we protect our little bro Israel. And like, it's a good setup for both parties. It's mutually beneficial. It's just the people who suffer as a result are I guess the people who don't support it. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this, because this could turn into just another example of U.S. regime change, where we topple a foreign empire, we go in and instill a regime that is friendlier to the United States and to our cause. It's nice that Trump is coming out and saying that he wants the Iranian people to do it, because that implies that, it's not going to be a U.S. propped up puppet, which would be ideal. But I've grown so jaded and cynical when it comes to our government that I don't really trust what he says when it comes to that. I still think that there's going to be somebody propped up to some degree, or we're going to make sure the United States is going to make sure that we're going to say, yeah, you guys can have your own free and open election, but we'll see how free and open it really is. Bricks News on Twitter. Netflix Yahoo is a Netflix Yahoo. I haven't heard that one before. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know, man. We have to be good to our ally countries. It's just, I don't like the fact that we get wrapped up in their bullshit all the time. What upsets me even more about it is how Netflix Yahoo, I like that a lot. Bro comes over here and tries to say some bullshit to the American people, like an attack on Israel is an attack on the United States. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, stop trying to propagandize the citizens of this great nation. I don't know, man. I have mixed feelings about this. Most of them not very positive. I don't like war. I'm very anti-war, and I'm very anti-regime change, hostile regime change from the United States. That's why I backed Tulsi Gabbard in the 2020 elections. I wanted Tulsi to become president. Her entire platform was based on anti-interventionist policy, and I was all about that. I said, yes. Putting my sexism to the side for the 2020 election. Hold up, open source intel, check it. What you talking about, Willis? What is open source intel? Open source intel. Here we go. Monitoring real-time news and open source intelligence, Middle East, US, beautiful. Interesting. Okay, so the IDF say they issue urgent warning to all individuals located inside or near military industrial factories and military infrastructure across Iran. You are in proximity to weapons and facilities that are dangerous. Dear citizens, for the sake of your safety and health, we kindly request that you immediately evacuate these areas and remain outside them until a new announcement is issued. Your presence in these locations puts your life at risk. Reports of more explosions in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. That was 3 minutes ago. We'll clean up the screen a little bit. There we go. Wow, 4 U.S. airstrikes have been carried out southwest of Baghdad as of 4 minutes ago. Look at these people partying in Dubai with missile interceptions happening overhead.
Tu non veni se booming, te non vinim. Oh my god! Even le se booming. Tu non veni se booming, te non vinim. Oh my god!
Imagine just trying to enjoy your day. You're on vacation at a resort, and literal death and destruction is happening above your head. That's crazy. Iran is okay, here we go. This is the stuff I wanted to see. Iran is retaliating against multiple U.S. military facilities across the Middle East, U.S. official tells NBC. Iran retaliating against multiple U.S. facilities. Said the same thing 3 times in a row. Okay. New explosions heard in Bahrain. Kuwait has shut its airspace temporarily after explosions were reported there as well 30 minutes ago. Whoa! Hold up.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay.
Damn.
Oh my god!
Wait a minute. So hold up. That's in Bahrain. Okay. I was about to say, hold on, that's not here in the States, is it? That'd be crazy if it was. Tehran sees heavy riot police deployment as the Iranian regime braces for potential mass protests. Yeah, I bet they are bracing for mass protests. Oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah, here's Fetterman's statement supporting it. President Trump has been willing to do what's right and necessary to produce real peace in the region. Yeah. Yeah, I got mixed feelings, man. I'm, for the most part, anti-war. I don't like war. I don't like acts that will instigate war. This will instigate a war. Sometimes war is necessary. With a preemptive strike, which is what this is, I feel like they're going to have to answer for that at some point. They're going to have to provide some kind of evidence. Apparently, as we looked before, they've got some intelligence that suggested the nuclear program was being rebuilt. And the way we're conducting the strikes, if you're going to do strikes, I feel like this is the best possible way to do it, where it's strictly by air, likely drone strikes. It's either drone strikes or, you know, manned aircraft. Or it, you know, could even be sent like from the sea. There's different ways to deliver the package, but I like the no boots on the ground part. I think that's probably my favorite part. I don't want U.S. troops going in there. I don't want our soldiers over there. It's just I'm worried for the Iranian people. I don't want civilians to get hurt. I don't want innocent people to get hurt. It's going to get rough over there. I can understand why the government's bracing for protests. I hope they protest. They should protest. They should take over the government, 100%. But I want them to do it. I want the Iranian people to take over the Iranian government. I don't want the U.S. going in there and propping up a puppet that is friendly to us, like we've done, you know, forever throughout history. That's just my main concern with this. If it can be a quick, clean operation, we take out, you know, some of the heads, and the Iranian people can then do their thing, great, fine, perfect. We'll wash our hands and then call it a day. Great job. Operation, what, Fury? Epic Fury. Epic Fury! Dude, these names are ridiculous. Yeah. I don't like war. I just don't want American soldiers getting hurt or killed. And I don't want the Iranian people getting hurt or killed. And, you know, same goes for the Israeli people. I don't want them to get killed as a result. Although, apparently, the Iranians are already retaliating. Yeah, that's insane, man. This very well could be how World War III starts. I hope it's not. We've had a couple of scares. We've had a few scares already. And I know, joking, in the past, we've already said, like, yo, this is where World War III starts. And it hasn't started yet, so I'm going to remain optimistic that we're not going to become a dystopian hellhole after this, but you never know. Maybe it might actually be nukes this time. That's crazy. That is wild, man. That is so wild. New video on open source. Let's check it out. U.S. cruise missile was spotted flying over Iraq, apparently heading toward targets in western Iran. Hold on.
شكرا هذا.
Just flying overhead. So what's crazy about this is I live very close to a military base, right? So we've got planes flying overhead all the time. And some of them fly pretty low because they're either taking off or landing at the base. And it gets pretty loud. That's really loud. Like in the video. Obviously the video doesn't really do it justice, but I can tell that that is a deafening roar coming from those rockets. Way louder than what these planes make. But I'm going to be hearing these planes flying overhead now and just kind of looking at my ceiling some type of way, you know what I mean? The IDF has conducted airstrikes against Ali Khamenei and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, Israeli officials tell Axios. Wow, so they're just straight up trying to bomb these people off the face of the literal people. Oh my god. Who is Ali Khamenei? Ali Khamenei. Ah, the supreme leader of Iran. And then, so that's the guy on the left, and then the dude on the right is Masoud Pezeshkian. He's the president. Interesting. So they have a two-tier power structure. They have a supreme leader, and then they also have a president. And the supreme leader was previously the president of Iran from 81 to 89. Yeah, Al Jazeera posted an article 47 minutes ago. Who is the supreme leader and why is he a possible target? Yep, lo and behold, the IDF just launched an attack on him. Hold on. Let me look at the comments of this post. That's a wild meme. Yeah. There's no follow-up under that initial post. I'm sure we'll find out soon, though. Loud explosions have been heard in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh. UK government spokesperson, Iran must never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon, and that is why we have continually supported efforts to reach a negotiated solution. I wonder who that spokesperson was. They're not named. Wow, this is crazy, man. So, I don't know how much longer I really want to stream and talk about this. There's not really too much more I can talk about. Depending on what develops overnight, because I still have to edit a video tonight, but depending on what develops, I'm probably not going to finish it at this hour. It's 2 a.m. right now. But depending on what develops, I may or may not go live again tomorrow as a follow-up, just to kind of catch up on everything that developed. Because I mean, like we just read, 2 huge targets were named. We'll see the result of those attacks and see if they were successful or not, and then I can report on that tomorrow. I appreciate the open source intel hookup, Quentin, and I'm also going to follow Nick Sorter here. Here, let's actually check out his feed. Let's refresh it. Where's Doll? She's sleeping. She was at my place, but she went home shortly before I started the stream on the Star Bazaar, and I think she passed out after I stopped. Okay, so Nick hasn't updated in 18 minutes. That's fine. You said I missed the latest bomb video? Oh, this one. The moment the missile hit Bahrain. That was the attack on the 5th Navy Fleet, right? Wow. Yeah. I really hope we are evacuated first. Me too, man. Me too. That's true. You know, just because a strike was carried out doesn't necessarily mean anybody was hit. There's always intelligence and information flying around. I'm sure they were alerted to the attack first before it happened. And that seems to be a retaliatory strike. Like, we hit them first, and then that was them hitting us back, basically. So, yeah, hopefully we had the foresight to be like, yo, let's just evacuate this base. It's close. It'll probably get hit. Man, dude, this is... Yeah, I'm going to have to sleep on this. I'll probably go live again tomorrow with a follow-up. There's going to be a lot of developments over the next couple of hours here. These people just chilling on vacation as literal hell breaks loose. Crazy. Craziness, man. Dude, yeah, today is going to be absolutely wild. I shouldn't sleep. Because over the next couple of hours, there's going to be so much coming out. This is the worst possible time to fall asleep. I just made a coffee. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna end the stream. We've been live for almost an hour. Look at that. Look at that, dude. Look at that. We're doing good. We're doing real good, I think. We're doing good. Where's my face? Let me get my FaceTime back in. Good. All right. Yeah. Bonkers, dude. Absolutely bonkers. I want to go live again tomorrow. I'll probably make some follow-ups. Shit. I shouldn't be excited, but I'm kind of low-key excited to make some content about this. This might launch this channel. Assuming we don't all die. Fuck, man. That's insane. Alright, guys. Y'all have a good night. I may or may not see you tomorrow. Hopefully I do. But sleep well. Try not to get hit by bombs, right? Hey, good morning, Taco. You're just in time to see the end of the stream. We're gonna say good night, but yeah, y'all have a good one. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, I'll probably see you on Monday for the Star Bazaar stream. But have a good night, guys. Peace.